Did you know you have the potential to make an extra $2,500 every single Saturday by growing a digital photo booth drop-off fleet? It's possible. You want to know how I know? Is because I've done it. And I'm going to tell you guys the secret sauce on how to scale and grow a drop-off fleet. Okay, and we're focusing on the digital photo booth. What that means is you have an iPad, you throw your iPad inside of your iPad photo booth stand. It could be like the Deluxe Duo, which we sell, the DigiBooth, like we sell, but it's a simple setup. iPad, photo booth, software, no prints, digital sharing. So I'm gonna tell you guys how you can do this the easiest. This is stuff that probably I could put into a course and sell for 500 bucks or $1,000, but I'm here to give it to you for free. So, number one, how do you start doing this? Well, number one, make sure you're subscribed. Make sure you're following us here on TikTok or wherever you're watching this. But all jokes aside, the first thing to do is to have an all-day drop-off. You can do any time from 11 a.m. to 11 p.m., a 12-hour window. So what we're doing there is, one, we're creating max value. All other photo booth companies are charging per hour, while we're giving the value of 12-hour, your whole party basically. While that helps the client or my lead, right, make a decision if they want to book with us, it helps me. Because the longer they have the photo booth at their party, the more time I have to go drop off my other photo booths. Remember, events aren't always at the same time. You're gonna have one party starting at 2 o'clock, maybe ending at 9. You're gonna have one party maybe starting at 5 o'clock, ending at 11. So like, you have to make sure you have a larger window so you can drop off photo booths. If you start charging people by the hour for the drop off, most people will probably rent it around the same time, more towards end of the party, not in the beginning. So me having that 12-hour window allows me to have that flexibility. Another thing that you have to remember is to start asking when you start doing these drop-offs, right? As soon as they book, when is the earliest I can come to set up the photo booth? Maybe they tell you 10 o'clock, but if their party doesn't start until 2, but they let me, 2 p.m., but they allow me to come at 10 a.m., that could be the first photo booth I drop off. So to me, the most hard part about scaling a drop-off business is just understanding the logistics of it, right? Like the most efficient way. Like we're going to set up this booth first, then this one, then this one, then this one. And then we also like to cap it at 11 p.m. because it gives, most parties don't end at 11, right? Some parties are ending at 1, but if we force them to stop at 11, I have the opportunity when I go set up the booth and say, well, hey, when is your party ending? And they'll say, well, it's going to end at 2. Now I know that this event right here, I can actually come last. I don't have to come at 11 to pick them all up because that could be a problem. Cool, so that's like the logistics side of it, right? And I highly recommend if you're doing the all-day rental, just have it a la carte. Meaning, base price, you can do, $375. That gets you just the photo booth, like the Deluxe Duo or the DigiBooth, with the iPad, with the photo option. We upcharge for everything. If you want to unlock GIF, boomerang, and video, because the photo booth does more than just photos, we charge $150 on top of it. If they want one of our beautiful backdrops, which you guys can buy at Photo Booth 101, the Photo Booth 101 backdrops, we're upcharging $100 for the backdrop. Not by hour, it's for the whole rental. If they want to rent the prop table, I'm charging 50 bucks, right? So everything is an add-on. So think about my offer here, right? All day rental. Boom, people are already interested. But for $375, now they're even more interested. Maybe someone just got a quote from somebody that was $500 for 2 hours, and then they hear $375 for all day. That's going to bring in a lot of leads. And then once I get the lead, that's when I upcharge. I can take a $375 all-day rental and turn it into a $600 to $650 rental by just adding value with the upgrades. So now that we talked about how to operate and what to offer, let's talk about equipment. The Deluxe Duo is hands down the best drop-off photo booth. Do you know how I know? Well, I know because I designed it. I had an engineer and we sat down, I told them what needed to be in the booth. It needed to be a super heavy booth that had 3 parts so that you put it together. Each part is manageable, but once it's together, I want to make sure that it's nearly impossible to knock over. we've achieved that. Also, I want to make sure that you can rotate from landscape and portrait and back and forth, but to be able to lock it into orientation. You don't want people playing with the light, and that's what we have accomplished. I wanted to make sure that it had a travel case that you could literally push into the venue. No pulling, no dragging. You just treat it like a piece of luggage, and that's what you get with the Deluxe Duo photo booth. Also, no tools needed for setup, and setup takes about 4 or 5 minutes. Comfortably, not even going super fast. So that's the best booth to do a drop off. You can still use the DigiBooth if the Deluxe Duo is still too expensive. I get it. The DigiBooth will also get it done. So boom, that's your hardware. And then iPad, I highly recommend always getting a larger iPad if you can. Either the 12.9, which they don't make anymore. You're gonna have to buy it new, used or refurbished, or the 13-inch iPads. You can, however, if you use the DigiBooth, you can use a 10th generation iPad, which is like a $350 iPad, a lot more affordable. But software, now that we talked about hardware, software, LumaBooth. I trust LumaBooth with my entire business. It's what we're using for all of our drop-offs. It's simple, it's reliable, and it can work offline, right? Recently, there was another software company. I don't want to say it. I don't want to throw them under the bus. I don't want to throw them under the bus, TouchPix, but LumaBooth doesn't have that problem because you can use it offline. But yeah, LumaBooth is the software we use. It's simple, easy to learn, easy to troubleshoot, and it doesn't do all that crazy AI stuff that might cause it to slow down or like just close. I've done drop-offs 3 days straight with LumaBooth in my photo booth stand, and it had 0 issues. When you leave, you have to make sure you're locking up the software settings. So in LumaBooth, there's a button you can press to lock that, but there's also something called guided access. Google it if you don't know what that is. You can have the software running, and then guided access will prevent anyone from closing the app. They just can't get out of it. We mainly grew our photo booth business. We scaled it by doing the drop-off. I literally went from 1 photo booth, right? 1 iPad booth to 12 in just 8 months. It's still a great idea to do. And I tell everyone, you know, I get it. It's scary to do a drop-off. You're worried about your equipment getting damaged or stolen, but scared money doesn't make money. And in this life, I've learned if it's something scary, there's opportunity there because a lot of people are going to talk themselves out of something that could potentially be great. Think about this. You can do by yourself comfortably 5 drop-offs by yourself at on average, $500 price point. That can easily be $2,500 in a weekend on a Saturday. That could be 10 grand a month. Like, how does that not get you excited? That's this video. Thank you for watching. And remember, if you want the best photo booth equipment, go to photobooth101.com. We have it all, from the best drop-off booth to the backdrops to anything. Everything you need. photobooth101.com. Thanks for watching. God bless, and I'll see you soon.